Good morning. Welcome to Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis, and it is a Monday. I know, another work week started Monday, July 24th. The only good thing about being in this part of the summer is that we're more than halfway through it. So hopefully we'll get out of this triple digit weather. My co-host this morning, Dr. Nicholas Cox. Nick's joining me. Good to see you, Nick. I know you've been on vacation. Did you get a chance to go anywhere where it was cooler than the Houston area?
I went to Austin for a few days, but it was not cooler.
No, it wasn't. I think the last time I was in Austin, not the last time, but back in 2017, we got there. It got up to like 112 that day. It was insane.
Yeah, we were spending a lot of time in downtown, walking around UT, going to the Blanton, the Bullock. Spend a lot more time outside when you're on vacation than when you're at home, and it was definitely 5 or 8 degrees hotter than Houston. So it was a hot summer break.
Yeah, hard to escape that heat, but that's Texas, and hopefully, maybe a couple of weeks we'll be out of this. I know it rained yesterday. It was bizarre because I had to go down to Needville for a birthday party, and we got caught in some rain. And I looked at my temperature gauge on the car. It said 74. I mean, when's the last
Hard
time?
to imagine.
Crazy. Yeah. So when's the last time you saw that? All right. So, Nick, we've got a great show coming up. We've got a couple of special guests. Before we get to that, I want to thank everybody who joins us live. We're live on Facebook and YouTube at 10 a.m. just about every morning when HCC is in session. But, Nick, they can also catch us in social media anytime and on HCCTV as well.
That's right, Todd. We're live on the Houston Community College Facebook page, on YouTube. We're also on Twitter, LinkedIn, and HCCTV, as you said, at noon, 5, and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
All right, so Nick, you've got a guest you'll be talking to in a few moments. We're going to bring her on right now. It's Music Monday, bringing it back, and we'll have a vocalist who's singing at a Blue Velvet presentation, paying tribute to the sultry Isabella Rossellini. Raquel Cepeda is a Houston jazz artist. Raquel, thank you for being here this morning.
Hello, how are you, Todd? Very nice to be here with you all, and hello to everyone that is watching us.
Well, we're looking forward to hearing about the event, so stick around. We'll be with you in about 10 minutes.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's kick things off. It's Mental Health Monday, and we've got Morgan Tucker. She is a counselor at HCC's Northwest College. Welcome to the show, Morgan. We want to talk about life balance in this day and age. It's very challenging, or can be challenging, so we're looking forward to hearing about this. Kick things off. Tell us about emotional temperature. Tell us what you mean by that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I wanted to share a couple of tips for mastering life balance with you all this morning. Sometimes life and it really sort of throws a lot at us. And if you can maintain a healthy work-life balance, it can just sort of make things a little easier. So my first tip was definitely to know your emotional temperature. So sometimes we aren't aware of our emotional state. And so it's really important to be able to check in with yourself periodically throughout the day. How am I feeling? Am I in sort of a distress or anything like that? If you do find yourself in distress, then you want to be able to take those steps to address it and give yourself a little bit of grace. You also want to take stock in what gives you comfort and security and try to make sure that you can incorporate those things into your everyday life.
And when you're talking about emotional temperature, do you rate those on a scale? Like today, I'm feeling like a 1, or, if I'm really stressed out, I'm up to maybe a 4 or 5. How does that work?
Absolutely. So you definitely want to try to scale it in some sort of way. So that can be a number, and many times, that can be some sort of emotion, that can be an emoji. But typically, I think having some sort of rating system to say a 10 would be the highest. I'm feeling fantastic. I'm feeling my best, down to a 1 to where maybe you know that you need a lot of support that particular day.
Let's talk about self-care, which is obviously important to maintain a healthy balance. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. So I want to say whole self-care. I'm sure everybody's heard all about self-care and just sort of, be bit over the head with it. But when you talk about holistic self-care, that's incorporating your mind, your body, and your spirit, because they're all connected and they all function as one. So when one of them is sort of out of whack, it'll impact the other two. So taking care of our psychological well-being can sometimes help to prevent certain medical illnesses and can even help increase recovery time when we do get sick. But bottom line, you want to try to do something on a regular basis to not only feed your body, but your mind and spirit as well.
How do you get the structure to, let's say you find yourself a little bit out of whack. You got to get back on track. How do you create a plan to start doing that to change your life?
Absolutely. So you have to get organized. So in order for you to be able to complete the litany of things that we all have to do every day, you have to have some sort of structure. So get yourself organized, make a plan, make a routine so you don't feel overwhelmed. So you can make a list of everything that you have to do. You can prioritize those things and understand, depending upon what week it is or what month it is, certain things may be able to be reallocated. You want to also be sure to incorporate some of those self-care activities into your routine or your plan, and then stick to your plan.
It's one of the things that always clears my mind is I run and try to be very active, and I try to shake things up. Like I get tired of running in the morning. A few months ago, I go run on my lunch hour. That ain't happening right now. So, and it seems like every time we go out, with this heat wave we're going through, it affects our bodies. How do we obtain balance when you're dealing with challenges like just the weather or the excessive heat?
Absolutely. So you want to identify your have tos versus your like tos. So when we say have tos, we're referring to our responsibilities. Like tos, we're referring to some of those recreational things. Both of them are important, right? So your entire life does not have to revolve around responsibilities. But again, you just need to be able to prioritize. Something else to consider is to label your this. And when I talk about this, I mean, what is that particular thing, that habit, that vice, that person that is depleting your time and your energy? So you want to ask yourself, is this adding value to my life in some sort of way? If it's not adding value, then how is it impacting me? If I were to stop doing this particular thing, how would my life be different? So a lot of times, if you can sort of ask yourself those questions and you kind of go through all of your different tasks throughout the day, again, prioritizing and differentiating if they're a responsibility or a recreation can help strike that balance that we're looking for.
Years ago, I believe it was about 12 years ago, I read a book which was really life-changing. It was called The Secret. And watched the film, read the book, did the workbook and all that stuff. And it really was changing, but I guess it was based on the power of positive thinking. That was the secret. That's the big secret. But you believe in positive thinking, and it goes back, I guess, to, was it Norman Vincent Peale's book, The Power of Positive Thinking, which came out decades ago. How does that change your life? And do you recommend that for people?
I absolutely recommend that for everyone. That sometimes can be easier said than done, right? Just sort of maintaining positivity. But it really, really can make a difference, because if you can master your mind, then everything else is going to sort of follow suit. So if you can try to reframe certain negative situations into a more positive one, that can typically make a big difference. Another recommendation would be to practice gratitude. So a lot of times we're only focused on those things that we don't have or whatever goals that we're working towards, to where we kind of forget about all of the progress that we've made and all of the things that we already have going for us. So really taking stock to focus in on what we've already done and the things that we currently have, rather than only focusing in on those things that we don't have, can also typically make a big difference. But if something negative does happen, again, is there anything that I can learn from this situation? Can this experience help me some way in the future?
What if someone's having difficulty making these changes, or are trying to grasp having gratitude or positive thinking? What advice do you have for them to have a little acceptance so they can get achieve some balance in their life?
Absolutely. So you want to be able to embrace change. And so change is the only constant in our life. Being able to identify and accept what is and is not inside of our control is probably one of the best pieces of advice that I can give. You focusing in on something that you can't do anything about is only going to bring you stress and strife. So you can learn how to pivot. You can learn how to just sort of take things in stride. And change can be difficult. Change can be daunting sometimes, but it's all a part of life. So if you can sort of incorporate all of these things when change does happen, hopefully it can be a little bit easy for you to grasp, and it won't completely throw you off.
Morgan Tucker, HCC Northwest College. She's a counselor there. Morgan, do you, for students who are looking for help, or if they want to speak with you, do you do Zoom sessions? Can they just pop in by the office? Do they make a reservation? How does that work?
Absolutely. So we, the Counseling and Ability Services Office, we are located on every one of our campuses. We can help students with personal counseling. We do crisis counseling, any sort of ADA. So if you were looking for, if you're a student with a disability and you're looking for classroom accommodations, we can also assist with that. And then we also provide basic needs services to our student body as well. The best way would be to contact the counselor at the college that you would like to visit via email, because we typically work by appointments. We offer in-person and virtual sessions. And so the best way would just be to visit our website, or you can shoot an email to the counselor and request a booking appointment.
Morgan, we're going to have all of your information in our social media post after the show. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much.
All right. We're bringing back Music Monday. And Nick, I know you've got a special guest lined up, ready to go. I'll let you take it over.
Thank you, Todd. Welcome to the show, Raquel. Before we talk about your career as a Houston jazz artist, could you tell us about Thursday's Blue Velvet event?
Yes, and I would like to invite everyone that is watching us, especially if you're a big cinephile, if you love movies and classics. The Friends of River Oaks Theater is an association, and they're trying to rescue the River Oaks Theater. But they're also doing screenings of some classics around, and they're going to do one this coming Thursday, the 27th, at the Match Theater. And they're going to be presenting Blue Velvet, which is a movie from 1986 by David Lynch. It's a movie in the noir genre. And if you like that kind of movies and you want to watch this classic, please join us. I have the immense pleasure and honor to be invited to do a performance before that. So I'll be performing for 1 hour. It's a short concert as a duo. I'll be with William Segismondi. And we're going to be performing some of the songs that were part of this movie, of the soundtrack, as well as some other jazz classics and originals as well.
Well, I'll confess here, when I was younger and I worked retail, we would play a lot of these Angelo Badalamenti scores over the sound system, Twin Peaks and Blue Velvet. Do you have someone that's going to be doing the Roy Orbison covers? Is that a part of the? No,
we're going to be doing the Angelo's songs. We're going to be doing Mysteries of Love and what was the other one?
The sort of main theme of the movie. The soundtrack's main theme. Well, wonderful. So you have warned your fans that this film is not for the faint of heart. I would second that.
Yeah, I had to do that warning on my social media because, the music is always something celebratory and beautiful. Now, the music is now coming with the movie, which if you're a lover of this kind of movie, you're so much going to enjoy it. But the movie was very controversial when it came out in 1986, and there's a reason why it was, and I think it's still controversial. It's very the way that David Lynch uses images and ideas, and it's kind of like very it's very strong in its language is narrative language, and for some people that are sensitive, it actually cannot necessarily be an enjoyable experience. So I would like to everyone that is interested in attending and joining us on Thursday to do a little bit of research and watch some of the trailers, do some research on the criticism that was done back then and right now, and just make sure that this is something that you want to see. One thing I have to say is that the movie is kind of like a book for a lot of psychological problems that can be in the human soul. And actually, as a psychologist, this may be something that would be interesting for you to watch.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the career that you've had in the arts here in Houston. I understand you're from Venezuela. How did you end up in Houston, and what did you do that brought you to this city for jazz music?
Yeah, so I'm a former geologist, and the reason why I came to the US is to do a master's degree in geology, in geological sciences, and I did that in Colorado. And then I got a job here in Houston, worked for the oil industry for 10 years. And then in 2015, I decided to become a full-time
Oh,
singer.
that's wonderful. And now you're a vocalist and a recording artist. Tell us about your recording
Yes.
history.
Yes, I recorded an album in Venezuela. It was a project with all three girls, but then that was in year 2000, 2001. And then when I came to the US in year 2013, I had my first solo album, and it was recorded at Sugar Hill Studios with the production of Paul English. And then in 2019, I did my second album, and this time produced by myself, and it was recorded at Wire Road Studios. And yeah, it came out with great reviews and a nomination as a best jazz album at the Pepsi Music Awards in Venezuela. So I'm very happy for that.
Where can people see you play live?
Well, I play live every Friday at a restaurant called Turao, which is in Montrose and Richmond. And also throughout the year, I do concerts and events. Some of these events I produce myself, and I produce two very iconic events, which are Jazz on Valentine's concert every February 14. Doesn't matter what day of the week it falls, whether it's a Monday, Tuesday, it will be happening that day. So Jazz on Valentine's concert every February 14, and then the Christmas concert, which happens sometime in December. This year is going to be December 10, Sunday, December 10. And both. So in the past, the Christmas concert has been at the Heights Theater. This year is going to be at the Match Theater, and the Valentine's concert is always at the Match Theater. So I hope that you can join me for any of those, or many others. I do other things that where I incorporate other flavors. Like sometimes, one day I did a Mexican focus, Mexican music focus, but from the perspective of jazz. And one day I did another concert of Venezuelan music from the perspective of jazz. And so I like to, get into just different cultural expressions and integrate them with the jazz sounds that I do.
Well, I see you also have a jazz septet, a band. Can you tell me a little bit about your bandmates and what kind of music the band performs?
Yes, so my septet, we focus mainly on, if I would say it broadly, it would be Latin jazz, but really we're incorporating many sounds from different parts of the world. So Afro-Latin, Brazilian jazz, Latin American boleros. We even have some Middle Eastern sounds incorporated to our catalog. So we focus on doing creative arrangements, and we've been together since 2017. And we traveled to Mexico to play there. We've done a lot of events with different organizations here in Houston and festivals. So an amazing group of people from all over the world, from Cuba, from Brazil, from Mexico, from the US. It's when we're all together, it's really magical. They're all professional musicians, high-level jazz musicians.
Well, since you mentioned Brazilian jazz and Latin American jazz, I was really struck this past June when I saw that Astrid Gilberto passed away.
Yes, I know.
Can you talk a little bit about the loss that we all now have since she's gone?
Well, yeah, Astrid, she was a great exponent of music, a lot of the Jobim music, and she did that in company of Stan Getz, the saxophonist Stan Getz. So she had this beautiful voice, and the interesting thing about her is that she was very simplistic and very minimalistic in the way that she approached a song, whether it was in Portuguese or in English, which sometimes she sang in English. So for you singers that are watching, and you probably don't know much about Astrid Gilberto, she she always played a song or sang a song with a vibrato. It was just very plain, but that simplicity was what made it so interesting. And I would like to make a further comment about that, is that sometimes we hear people singing that we like, and we want to sound like those people. But I would like to invite you all, especially you singers, to develop your own style, and don't be shy or feel less because you don't do crazy jumps on your voice or anything like that. Look at Astrid Gilberto. She was so simple in her approach, but she still communicated so much. So yes, we've lost a lot with her departure. Of course, we're talking about a generation that thrived in the 60s and the 70s. And now they're, unfortunately, of course, passing away. We're seeing every day this kind of news.
For casual listeners of bossa nova like myself, again, I mentioned that the Badalamenti soundtracks were common when I worked in retail in the 90s, and so were the Getz Gilberto and other bossa nova records. It's great to hear that you have a local band keeping Latin jazz available live for audiences here in Houston. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Todd.
So Houston jazz artist Raquel Cepeda also performing at the River Oaks Friends of the Theater's restoration showing Blue Velvet. We'll have more information about your music career and that show after the show.
Absolutely. I look forward to seeing you all there.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you both. And we've got a few announcements to go through before we wrap up the show. One of them involves the Summer Food Scholarship Program. It's happening at our Spring Branch campus. The Food Scholarship Program from HCC's counseling, as well as the Student Success Center, offers free groceries. And you can find things like fresh fruit, veggies, protein, canned goods, and much more. You have to register ahead of time. Not a big deal, but you can walk-ins are welcome as well. 1 to 4 p.m., Tuesday, July 25th. It's at HCC's Spring Branch campus, the Student Success Center. Check our post after the show for registration information. And our Engineering Academy has an orientation coming up.
That's right, Todd. Engineering Academy orientation for Texas A&M Academy. HCC students who have enrolled in the Texas A&M Chevron Engineering Academy must attend a mandatory half-day orientation this week. Those students will later spend 1 to 2 years co-enrolled at HCC and Texas A&M before transitioning full-time to complete their college degree. Those orientations are from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Wednesday, July 26th at the HCC Spring Branch Campus Performing Arts Center. Check our post after the show for registration information.
We've got an event coming up at our district offices. HCC will launch its series on why Black male entrepreneurs matter. It'll discuss the impact these men have on our society and economy. Fellow entrepreneurs will share their strategies to promote inclusivity, diversity, and equal opportunities. The first part of the series is 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tuesday, August the 1st. It's hybrid. It's at HCC's administrative building, our district offices, 3100 Main, Seminar Room B. Check our post after the show for registration information there. And if you're interested in some jazz or dance classes, including jazz, well, we've got an event for you as well for summer dance classes, Nick.
Yes, that's right, Todd. More jazz content or music in general. The HCC's Community Learning Program is continuing its classes for kids, teens, adults, and seniors, including tap, jazz, Middle Eastern belly dancing. All of those options are available Tuesdays and Saturdays through August 8th and 12th at the HCC Spring Branch campus. Again, check our post after the show for times, fees, and registration information.
We always have these registration fairs as we in open houses along really across the whole district, especially as we're going into an upcoming semester like the fall semester. Well, HCC's Southeast College has got one coming up on Saturdays, August 12th and 19th. You can turn your passion into a career at this open house and registration fair. Students, as well as the community, can explore HCC's Southeast College programs, meet the staff, register for classes, and enjoy a lot of fun activities. Check it out. It's on the Eastside College Eastside's campus, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Saturdays, August the 12th and the 19th, right before our fall semester starts. Check out our district Facebook page for more information on this. And fall registration is underway. Nick, you can register for classes right now.
That's right. We've got fall starting in late August. You can register for classes across all the modalities we offer. We have classes in person. We have classes online anytime. We have classes online on a schedule. We also offer hybrids that meet in person and online, as well as hybrid lab courses. To learn more about HCC programs, start dates, and options, go to hccs.edu/apply.
Okay, we're going to wrap up today's show. Coming up later this week, Dr. Philip Nicotera making a return to the show to talk about some more programs out at Coleman College. And for Thursday Family Fun Day, we'll welcome back the Pacific War Museum, talk about their upcoming battle reenactment with living history volunteers using simulated explosives, blank firing guns, and a real flamethrower. It's going to be pretty cool. So we'll talk about that later in the week. Nick, thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Todd. I'll see you next Monday.
Yep, we'll see you next Monday. Meanwhile, I'll see all of you tomorrow morning live, 10 a.m. for Up to the Minute.